Hi, I need to fill out a missing persons report. We went to her apartment to go check. She's there, and she's on.
And what is her first name?
Her first name is Sasha.
Death of a 27-year-old Orlando woman. Sasha Samsudean's body was found Saturday night inside of her apartment at Uptown Place on North Orange Avenue. Right now, police are not releasing many details, but friends and neighbors say they were stunned to hear about it.
Typical girl, just nice, fun-loving girl. She wasn't too boastful, too loud. Just a nice, quiet type. Just she seemed to get along with everybody.
I guess kind of nervous because we don't really know, how she was killed or if we should be concerned that there's someone dangerous living in our building.
Sasha with 407 Apartments TV. I'm here at the Edge Orlando Apartments near UCF. So let's go check out what they have to offer.
Sasha Samsudean was 27 years old. She lived in downtown Orlando, Florida, in a sleek high-rise called Uptown Place Condominiums at 911 North Orange Avenue, the kind of building with a lobby, 24-hour cameras, and a security guard on duty every single night. After graduating from the University of Florida, Sasha became a social media manager and local expert for 407apartments.com, an Orlando-based real estate company.
About the Edge Apartments in Orlando, check us out at 407apartments.com.
She called herself the Cupid of apartment hunting. It suited her perfectly. She was magnetic, warm, the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into. On the night of October 16th, 2015, Sasha went out to the Attic Bar in downtown Orlando with friends. She had a great night. Around 12:30 in the morning, she decided to head home. Her friend Anthony Roper was supposed to meet her for breakfast later that day. She smiled and told him she'd see him then. That was the last time anyone who loved her saw her alive. After leaving the bar, Sasha was alone and struggling. She was visibly intoxicated, stumbling, disoriented, trying to make her way back to Uptown Place. Two women, Julia Goff and her roommate, were riding in an Uber when they spotted her walking along the street. They made a decision that any decent person would. They stopped, got her in the car, and drove her home. They dropped her at Uptown Place. They watched her walk up to the building where a security guard was on duty. They felt good about leaving her there. She's safe now, they thought. They drove away. Later that morning, Anthony Roper waited for Sasha. She didn't come. He texted. He called. Silence. Sasha was always online, always active. The quiet was wrong. He and two friends drove to Uptown Place. They found Sasha's car in the parking lot, and in the back seat, still wrapped, a baby shower gift she was supposed to deliver that day. They knocked on her door. Nothing. They called hospitals, police, anywhere she might be. Finally, Anthony called in a welfare check.
Hi, I need to fill out a missing persons report. We went to her apartment to go check. She's there, and she's on.
And what is her first name?
Her first name is Sasha.
When Orlando police officers arrived at Sasha's third-floor apartment, the first thing they noticed was the smell. Bleach. A sharp, overwhelming smell of bleach. So strong, it was immediately alarming. This wasn't someone who'd cleaned their bathroom. This was deliberate. This was someone trying to destroy something. The apartment looked deceptively normal at first. Clean. Tidy. But then an officer entered the bedroom. Sasha Samsudean was lying on her bed, wrapped in her comforter. At first glance, she could have been sleeping. She was not sleeping. When the medical examiner pulled back the comforter, the full picture emerged. Sasha was partially clothed. Her purple shirt had been ripped open at the front. Her bra had been torn. Her necklace had been wrenched from her neck and was tangled in her hair. Her white pants were missing. Her underwear was missing. Her purse, phone, and keys, all gone. The marks on her neck told the cause of death. Strangulation. The medical examiner, Dr. Gary Utz, would later testify that Sasha had also suffered blunt force trauma to her head, bruising across her chest from multiple blows and a fractured larynx. He told the court that in his entire career he had never seen an internal neck fracture that severe. She had fought. Her injuries told that story clearly. Sasha Samsudean did not go quietly. She fought with everything she had. On the floor beside her bed, a condom wrapper. In the carpet, shoe prints that did not belong to Sasha. Partial impressions. A man's tread. On the bedding. Discoloration. Testing would later confirm it had been soaked in a bleach mixture, poured deliberately in an attempt to wash away DNA evidence. Sasha's own body smelled of cleaning solution, noted by the medical examiner at autopsy. In Sasha's bathroom, investigators noticed something that stopped them cold. The toilet seat was up. In an apartment where only a woman lived, that detail stood out immediately, and on the underside of the toilet seat lid, a fingerprint. A single, clear male fingerprint. The same shoe print pattern found beside her bed was on the bathroom floor. Someone had been in that bathroom. Someone who had no business being there, and in his rush to clean up after himself, the bleach, the bags, the wiped surfaces, he had missed one thing: his fingerprint. Investigators worked quickly. Julia Goff and her roommate came forward through media appeals and were cleared immediately.
Suspicious death of a 27-year-old Orlando woman. Sasha Samsudean's body was found Saturday night inside of her apartment at Uptown Place on North Orange Avenue. Right now, police are not releasing many details, but friends and neighbors say they were stunned to hear about it. She was a graduate of Seminole High School in Sanford. Police are asking anyone who was in the area of North Orange Avenue and Mark Street early Saturday morning to please call them.
The last time friends saw Sasha was Friday night. She returned home here to her Uptown Place apartments just before 2 a.m. where she was in the hallway caught by a security camera.
It's very sad, and and our biggest thing is we really do want to solve this, and I hope that anyone that sees this picture and that can recognize her that night, just to please give us a call.
The male resident who Sasha had followed into the building was traced through digital key logs. His DNA came back clean. He was eliminated. That left one name: Stephen Duxbury. The man on duty that night was Stephen Duxbury, 33 years old, an Air Force veteran, married. He had been working for Vital Security and Investigations for just 5 months, stationed at the Uptown Place front desk 4 nights a week. Nobody at the building had ever flagged him as a concern. He was just the security guard, the familiar face behind the desk, part of the furniture. But that night, he was watching. When Sasha arrived, she had no key fob, no ID, and couldn't remember her access code. A male resident let himself in, and she slipped in behind him. That resident was later identified, swabbed, and cleared completely. Duxbury would later claim he tried to help her, walked her to the garage to look for her car keys, and that she eventually remembered her code, and he left her to it. The cameras told a completely different story. At 1:46 a.m., Sasha enters building, moves toward the stairwell, disoriented. For nearly 40 consecutive minutes, Stephen Duxbury trails Sasha through the building. Every time she reaches a secured access point, a door requiring a key card, Duxbury swipes his card. For her, through door after door, he stays just behind her, always close, always there. Multiple angles confirm Duxbury uses his keycard to follow Sasha through secured doors across several floors. At 2:25 in the morning, a camera captures something that would later be highlighted by prosecutors. Sasha and Duxbury are in a stairwell together. They are laughing. That is the part that breaks your heart. She had no reason to fear him. In her intoxicated, vulnerable state, she believed he was helping her. He was the person the building paid to keep her safe. So she laughed with him. She had no idea what was coming. At 2:31 a.m., Duxbury and Sasha moved toward the 3rd floor, her apartment. This is the last time any camera captures Sasha Samsudean alive. After this moment, the cameras see nothing more of her. At 6:36 a.m., Stephen captured holding 2 trash bags in 2nd floor and returned to the building at 6:38 a.m. It was not Stephen Duxbury's job to take out residents' trash. Those 2 bags, the same kind later found inside Sasha's apartment. When detectives sat down with Duxbury, they already had the footage. They already knew about the 40 minutes. They already knew about the bags at 6:36 a.m. He maintained his story. He had tried to help Sasha, walked her toward her apartment, and then left when she said she remembered her code. He had never entered her apartment. He wasn't supposed to go into apartments. But investigators noticed something on his arms. Fresh injuries, what appeared to be a bite mark, scratches, the kind you get when someone is fighting back. Sasha had left her mark on him. Duxbury handed over his work shoes voluntarily. They didn't match the prints in Sasha's apartment, but a search warrant for his home in Port Orange turned up a second pair of shoes, and those matched perfectly. His cell phone had been factory reset. Every message, every call log, every search, wiped. But investigators recovered partial data, and buried in what remained was something chilling. In the days before the murder, Duxbury had been searching online for information about the specific type of lock on Sasha's apartment door, how it worked, how to bypass it. This was not spontaneous. He had planned it. When he broke into her apartment, he raped her and strangled her to death. DNA collected from Sasha's body, a conclusive match to Stephen Duxbury. The fingerprint on the toilet seat lid. Stephen Duxbury. The shoe prints beside her bed. His shoes found at his home. The garbage bags. Same brand, same type as the bags in Sasha's apartment. There was no alternative explanation, no shadow of doubt.
Basically, it was just my best friend's older sister was babysitting my siblings because they wouldn't listen to me. My mother was a single mother raising 4 kids. We lived in a farm, and this was in Massachusetts. Kid that lived down the road kept sneaking over to our farm and opening all the doors, letting our animals out in the middle of the night. We lived on a major highway. I had to take the dogs out to the barn. She came with me to help me because I had a golden retriever and another dog. And while we were out there, I had forgotten to plug in the cord that gave power to the barn in the house, so it was pitch black, and I thought I heard something upstairs. And I thought, oh god, shit's upstairs. So, not really thinking, I went over to the wall of tools and I grabbed the first thing that made seem sense to me, which was a shovel head that had broken off the staff. I go up the stairs and she's following me. She was about a year or two older than I was, and she's kind of a little nervous about what's going on, so I'm like, okay, stay here at the top of the stairs. If anyone tries to run by you, stop. She's like, okay. So I go walking around, I can barely see anything. I'm walking, I hear floorboards creak, I see a shadow move out of the corner of my eye. Turn around, upside the back of her head. Oh, she had moved and followed me. I didn't know. That's a simple mistake. Well, that simple mistake, unfortunately, went right down the worst roads possible. She freaks out, and I find out later that's because she had been raped by her 3 previous boyfriends and her uncle. So see, she had some severe issues with that. Her mother hated my mother because her kids felt more comfortable talking to my mother than her. So she forced Becky to press charges against me. State troopers in the area basically assumed I was trying to rape her or something. And then it just went from there.
Orlando police investigators say 33-year-old Stephen Duxbury was arrested around 10:30 this morning at his home in Port Orange. They say Duxbury was a security guard here at the Uptown Place Apartments in downtown Orlando the night 27-year-old Sasha Samsudean arrived home after a night out with friends.
As a security guard, he used his access to prey on someone who was very vulnerable.
Police Chief John Mina and his investigators say Duxbury sexually battered Samsudean and strangled her in her apartment. They say he then wrapped her body in her comforter, using bleach to get rid of any DNA evidence. Investigators say Duxbury didn't realize he left behind some shoe prints on her carpet, and he also left behind fingerprints on her toilet seat, which he left up. Detectives said they hope Duxbury's arrest lets residents here sleep easier tonight.
Samsudean was found murdered in her apartment. Today, our detectives have arrested Stephen Duxbury, the security guard from Uptown Apartments, in connection with this case. Stephen Duxbury is charged with first-degree murder, sexual battery, and burglary to an occupied dwelling. As a security guard, he used his access to prey on someone who was very vulnerable. Our hearts go out to Sasha's family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them, and we hope that this will bring a little bit of closure or start the process of closure for this family.
On October 30th, 2015, 13 days after the murder, Stephen Michael Duxbury was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Volusia County, Florida. He was charged with first-degree murder, sexual battery, and burglary. Duxbury's trial began in 2017. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Attorneys saying speculation should not be admitted as evidence, but the state says the motion is untimely and should be struck by the court, especially with the trial right around the corner.
State?
Yes.
How many days do you need?
I would estimate about 5.
Duxbury's attorneys also hinting additional motions could be filed, to which the judge said time is running out.
All right, well, get them filed because you need to have them heard in front of me before Monday. So I would suggest you get them filed, which means you have them tomorrow.
Away from the start of a murder trial for a former security guard accused of killing a young woman. Jury selection starts tomorrow in Stephen Duxbury's trial. Channel 9's Sierra Pubman is live outside the courthouse. And Sierra, the defense was given a blow when a judge said key pieces of evidence would not be thrown out.
And that evidence is going to be in. It includes some shoes that were found at the defendant's house, as well as some statements he made during a polygraph test. And earlier today, I was talking to our legal analyst, and he explains just how big of a deal this is. Stephen Duxbury's defense fought to keep statements their client made during a polygraph test, as well as these shoes reportedly found at his home that allegedly match marks at Sasha Samsudean's apartment, out of court. But the judge says they're in. Channel 9 legal analyst Bill Schaefer.
A circumstantial evidence case is like a puzzle. You have to get all of those pieces of that puzzle into evidence so that you can show this defendant is guilty of what you charged him with.
During the trial, Schaefer says we can expect the defense will try to get more puzzle pieces thrown out.
Once jury selection begins, it's too late to make motions to exclude evidence. However, the defense during the trial will raise objections as that evidence comes in.
Duxbury is accused of raping and killing Samsudean back in 2015.
The defendant's statement that he was never in that apartment is inconsistent with forensic evidence. That could be key to the state's case.
Prosecutors laid out every piece of evidence. The 40 minutes of surveillance footage, the key card logs, the garbage bags, the matching shoes, the fingerprint, the DNA, the factory reset phone, the searches for her lock. Dr. Gary Utz testified about the severity of Sasha's injuries, the fractured larynx, the blunt force trauma, a level of internal neck injury he had never seen in his entire career. The jury heard about the bleach poured across her bed, the condom wrapper, the missing clothes, the bite mark on Duxbury's arm, placed there by Sasha as she fought for her life. The trial lasted 7 days. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all 3 counts: first-degree murder, attempted sexual battery with physical force, burglary of a dwelling with assault and battery. Stephen Michael Duxbury was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences plus an additional 15 years. He will never leave prison.
Without that product, plaintiff, it's impossible for plaintiff to prove that any defect with the subject lock was the cause of Sasha Samsudean's death.
Or their defect, and they could have said something to the police, but naturally they wouldn't want to say, hey, just so you know, that design, we know that millions of these are easily broken into, so you might want to say that.
Hurts a whole lot. More than 2 years after their daughter was killed, Tara and Ken Samsudean still deal with the grief.
Sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Now the couple is honoring their daughter's legacy by working alongside the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Someone to hold your hands, someone to guide you through the system.
For Tara Samsudean, she struggled to work as a trauma nurse after the death of her daughter. Instead, she's helping people like those at this annual Victims' Rights Breakfast.
We help ourselves by telling our stories, but we also help them by listening to their stories.
Sasha Samsudean left a bar at 12:30 in the morning and tried to get home. 2 strangers in an Uber stopped to help her. They did everything right. The system that was supposed to do the rest failed her completely. The man hired to stand between danger and the residents of that building was the danger. He had a uniform, a key card, and the trust of every person in that building. And he used all of it to prey on a woman who was vulnerable, disoriented, and believed, until it was too late, that he was keeping her safe. Sasha's family filed a civil lawsuit against Uptown Place, the security company, and the lock manufacturer, arguing that the absence of hallway cameras created the darkness Duxbury needed to act. They were right. Her case appeared on Investigation Discovery's See No Evil and Oxygen's Murdered by Morning, programs that use surveillance footage to make sure stories like Sasha's are never forgotten.